Hello and welcome back to our third season of Casual Side, the podcast that can be your best friend from HR and guide you to the jungle of job search, personal branding, onboarding and career discussions. In this first episode, we will talk with Lucie, who is the employer branding specialist at PwC Luxembourg. She will walk us through the concept of personal branding, explain the key pillars of it, and will let us know how to use it to our advantage. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Hi Lucie, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm very fine. Hi, Anne-Catherine. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Well, we're here today to talk about employer branding. So maybe you could let's explain me and the listeners out there what employer branding actually is and what do you do and why it has become so important.
Yeah, so maybe you didn't hear before about employer branding. This is a new term, but actually very important. The employer branding specialist acts as a link between HR, marketing, and communication teams, and his role is to position companies as a great place to work. So definitely, I'm here to help about the attraction and to hire the best candidate, but also retain and engage our employees.
Mm-hmm. And so, well, that's a definition of employer branding, but what do you do?
But my role is the following. I'm here to help about identifying what exactly about the company makes it attractive for candidates, but also to enlighten key differentiators that set the company apart from our competitors. And of course, I'm also here to develop and project the employee value proposition.
So you could say that all the things, the material you see out there with like 10 reasons to join PwC,
Definitely.
or just in general social media communication, at one point went over your desk and you checked if it's compliant with the branding we would like to create for PwC.
Yeah, all the elements that will make us different and remarkable.
Okay, but how do you become an employer branding specialist?
I'm not sure there's studies or a big program to become an employer specialist. In my case, I think at least you have to be an experienced HR generalist, but also have a good command of marketing and communication tools. And before that, I was communication manager in an agency. I also work in marketing fields, and I had the chance to work in several transversal functions related to human resources. So I believe that to be a good employer branding specialist, you have to be a good generalist with an helicopter view and sense of human relation. And of course, a taste for strategy, for numbers, and for analysis. And what's important also for me is that you, as an employer branding specialist, you have to like storytelling and create content. Because I think this is a good job and a good balance between reason and emotion and between your left and your right brain.
Okay, so it sounds like the perfect match between marketing, communication, but also someone who has a general interest in people experience, employee experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's something out there that has become more and more important, and that's linked to employer branding, but it is the personal brand of an employee. What is it?
Your personal brand is the way people talk about you were not in the same room and them. So it's the way you promote yourself, and it's what makes you memorable. You have to keep in mind that whatever you do, whatever you talk about, you have to be memorable. So finally, your personal branding is a unique combination of your purpose, your skills, your value, your experience, and also your attitude and your personality. And this is the way you combine everything and the way you tell your own story to people.
It seems that you need some kind of experience to build your personal brand. So how would the junior go about it?
Well, I think there's different steps you can't miss. So you have to be very active on social media to increase your visibility. This is the first step. You have to be visible, but not in any way. You have to be prepared. And of course, for that, you have to create original content and you have to generate emotion. So talk the talk is not enough. today it's definitely not enough. You have to take great pictures, you have to make written articles, you have to create a blog, make videos. This is the best way to increase your community. And then you also have to engage with your network. So comment publication, share emotion with people. This is the key steps to become more visible and to increase your personal brand.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think it has become so important over the past couple of years, especially in a professional environment where we didn't talk at all about personal brand?
Well, I think this is important nowadays because of two main reasons. First, it's obvious that the market has evolved, and we definitely noticed an evolution of how companies view their worker. And second, the people expectation have changed in in very many ways. So let me explain you how it works in a few words. Before 2010s, the company was at the heart of the market. It means that it was a very corporate-centric approach. So people were just resources, and we just speak about utility, productivity, performance, and that's all. In the 2010s, we start talking about the employee experience. So we start to elaborate notions like employee well-being, like collective well-being, and the top management was a little bit more implemented into concrete actions. But it was on a collective scale. And most of the time, actions were quite a failure because it was too generalist for people. Now, and especially since the COVID, we have entered in the sphere of human experience, and it changed everything. Because now employers are asking to their employees more about their individual needs, and your needs is not the same than mine. So my need, my priorities, my wishes as an employee is very important to be known for my employer. And because of that, my employer is able to propose tailor-made decisions. This is what differentiates them in the market, definitely. So the more a company will be focused about the human experience, the more attractive it will be. So just to give you an example, because it has to be very clear, but if I was an employer in the 90s, for example, I did not care about you. Okay, so for example, if you have to go into the office, I don't care if you take bus or a car or whatever, I just want you to be on time. During the 2010s, I offered you the possibility to lease a car. If you live at 4 kilometers of the office, it's not my business. I just give you the possibility, you choose or you don't choose it, and that's all. Now, I'm giving you as an employer the possibility to lease a car or lease a bicycle or lease something else or take the bus or whatever, but I give you the large scale of solution to be able to come into the office. And at the end, I will just want to be sure that you're good in the way you take the transport or the thing to be here. So, of course, the view is totally different. The second thing about that is that people expectations have changed in many ways, as I said. So now most job seekers are no longer content to accept just any job. They want a meaningful position, and they want a company in which their career ambition will be listened, and that company has to allow them to grow personally and professionally. So we speak about career development, talent program, individual career program, and so on. And they want to know the whole story, the company mission, the company values, the culture, the commitment to social responsibility, and then they will decide or not if they come. So, let's say the power has been inversed. Now the employer has to listen and the employees has the power. So it's very important to communicate about professional and employer branding as well as personal branding.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think are the key benefits for a professional if they build their personal brand?
Well, in the professional world, your personal brand can be definitely vital because it is how you present yourself to current and potential client or employers. So, of course, it helps people believe they know you better, and people have much higher trust in those they feel they know. It means that it's a key for your employability, of course. For example, on a platform like LinkedIn, your personal branding is what sets you apart from other candidates. And of course, it applies to your value as an employee and your areas of expertise. So don't forget that, for example, the recruiters will often Googleize your profile. And if you're not taking care about your personal branding, it's the worst thing that can happen, because they will find something, but we are not sure what we find. So in some case, of course, your personal branding will allow you to bring some attention to your profile, but not in the best case. So of course, take care of your personal branding. And again, it can also bring you some tough leadership, because your network will come to you for some insight that you can bring to them, or for social selling, for example, because once you have increasing your visibility on social media, and people are very convinced that you are an expert in your area, it means that you will be the first to come in mind when someone is ready to buy or to sell something.
And do you think, I think you already briefly touched base on this, but what do you think is the best strategy to build your personal brand? So someone who has just a LinkedIn profile that's just out there but with no contact, so how should they start?
Well, that's a good question. There's some basic that you can't miss. So definitely the starting point is let's say, try to be the most complete in your profile. So be able and be ready to communicate about what your strengths are, what your core values are, what your purpose is, and so on. Then, of course, be visible. Your personal brand will exist just because you will communicate on social media. So be visible, increase your visibility on social media, but in a good and very adapted way. Then, as I said, you have to create content. So not any content, but very specialized and meaningful content. And you can also advocate for your company. So, for example, display a winning interest for your company content, because your network will know that you are inside that company.
Okay. And then before we wrap up this episode, what is some piece of advice you would like to share with the listeners?
My last advice will be the following. First, I would say to our followers, don't lie to yourself. Getting to know yourself takes time, of course, and also abnegation. This is very important to know that. You won't always like what you discover, but we have to be very honest. And once you are honest with you, you can be authentic with the others. And once you have deepened this knowledge of yourself, start thinking about how you will value yourself and really value yourself. So you must take your place in life with confidence and with humility. And even if you have doubt, even if you have fears, just push the door. And you'll see you will create a lot of opportunities for yourself, and unexpected opportunities sometimes. And of course, no one will do it for you because luck favors the bold. So push the door, be confident, be humble, and do something.
So we could say, be your best ally.
Definitely, be your best ally.
Thank you so much, Lucie.
Thank you, Anne-Catherine.
That's it for today's episode. And if you don't want to miss out on our upcoming stories, hit subscribe and feel free to share. Let us know what you think. Thank you for listening, and see you for the next episode of Casual Side.